In a tranquil village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a man named Raj. Raj was known far and wide for his calm demeanor and compassionate heart. He possessed an inner wisdom that was the envy of many, as he had learned to harness the power of anger in a way that transformed it into a force for good. Raj's journey towards this wisdom began during his early years when anger was his constant companion. His temper flared like a wildfire, consuming everything in its path. The village had almost given up on him, labeling him the angry young man and avoiding him as much as possible. But beneath the rage that had become his armor, there was a heart yearning for peace. One day, as Raj was taking a solitary walk in the woods, he came across an old monk sitting under a tree. The monk was serenely sipping tea, as if the chaos of the world didn't touch him. Raj felt drawn to this man, and with a deep breath, he approached and asked, "How do you maintain such calm in this chaotic world?" The old monk looked at Raj and smiled gently. "Anger is like a fire," he said, "it can either destroy everything or cook food. It depends on how you use it." Raj was intrigued by the monk's words and decided to stay and learn from him. The monk took him under his wing and began teaching him the art of transforming anger into a force for good. Raj realized that anger was a part of his being, and he couldn't eliminate it completely, but he could change the way he responded to it. The first lesson the monk taught Raj was to pause and observe his anger when it arose. Instead of reacting immediately, Raj practiced taking a step back, both physically and mentally. He would excuse himself from situations that triggered his anger and find a quiet place to reflect. As Raj became more skilled at this practice, he discovered that beneath his anger, there were often unmet needs and untamed desires. It was these unmet needs that fueled his anger. By recognizing and addressing these needs, he could diffuse his anger before it erupted. The second lesson was forgiveness. Raj learned that holding on to anger and grudges was like carrying a heavy burden, one that only weighed him down. The monk taught him to forgive not only others but also himself. Forgiveness allowed Raj to release the anger he had been holding on to for years. Over time, Raj's anger began to transform. It was no longer an uncontrollable inferno but a controlled fire that he could use to fuel positive change. He learned that anger could be a catalyst for transformation, for standing up against injustice, and for motivating change. It was no longer an enemy but a friend that nudged him towards growth. As Raj continued to study under the old monk, he started practicing the third and most profound lesson, empathy. The monk taught Raj to put himself in the shoes of others, to understand their perspectives, and to recognize that everyone carried their own burdens. With this empathy, Raj found it increasingly difficult to be consumed by anger. He realized that, just like him, others were also struggling with their inner storms. The village noticed the gradual transformation in Raj. He became a symbol of hope and inspiration. People started seeking his advice and guidance, not because he was devoid of anger, but because he had learned to channel it wisely. He had turned his anger into a force for change and a beacon of compassion. One day, a great calamity struck the village. A devastating flood washed away homes, crops, and livelihoods. The entire community was in shock, grief, and anger. Raj, with his newfound wisdom, saw an opportunity to make a difference. Instead of succumbing to despair or bitterness, he decided to rally the villagers. He stood before them, a powerful fire burning within his eyes, and said, "This is our chance to rebuild, to show the world the strength of our community. Let's channel our anger into determination, our grief into resolve, and our despair into hope." With Raj as their guiding light, the villagers began to channel their collective anger into a powerful force for positive change. They worked tirelessly, helping one another, and rebuilding not only their homes but also their bonds of friendship. The flood had taken much, but it had also revealed the strength of their unity. Word spread about the remarkable transformation in the village, and soon, people from neighboring villages came to witness the change. They saw the villagers' resilience, the way they had channeled their anger into a force for good, and it inspired them to do the same in their own lives. Raja's fame spread even further, and he was invited to speak at gatherings and conferences, sharing his wisdom about the transformation of anger into a catalyst for change. He emphasized that anger was a natural emotion, but how one harnessed it made all the difference. As Raj continued to touch lives and inspire people, he never forgot the old monk who had shown him the path to wisdom. He visited the monk regularly, who had always seen the potential within Raj. The monk was immensely proud of his student, who had gone on to become a source of inspiration to so many. Years passed, and Raj grew old. His once fiery temper had become a controlled and powerful force that inspired people across the land. On his deathbed, he gathered his family and friends and said, "Remember, anger is not the enemy, it's a messenger. Use it to make a difference, to bring about positive change, and to inspire others." Raj passed away, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and inspiration. His village and those who had been touched by his story continued to live by the lessons he had imparted. They knew that anger was not a destructive force but a transformative one, a fire that could either consume or illuminate. In his memory, the village erected a statue of Raj, a symbol of the power of a controlled and wise anger. His story became a timeless legend, inspiring generations to come. And the village, once labeled as the home of the angry young man, was now known as the village of wisdom, compassion, and transformation. The tale of Raj, the man who harnessed the fire of anger and turned it into a beacon of inspiration, remains a timeless reminder that, with the right guidance and inner transformation, even the most potent emotions can be channeled into forces for good. Anger, like fire, can either destroy or illuminate, and the choice is ours to make. You can learn several valuable lessons from the story of Raj, the man who harnessed the fire of anger and turned it into a force for good. 1. Anger is a natural emotion. The story emphasizes that anger is a normal and natural emotion that everyone experiences. It's not something to be suppressed or denied but acknowledged and understood. 2. Self-awareness and self-control. Raj's journey begins with the recognition of his own anger and a commitment to controlling it. The story illustrates the importance of self-awareness and the ability to pause and reflect on one's emotions before reacting. 3. Transformation through reflection. By taking a step back and reflecting on the source of his anger, Raj was able to transform it. Readers can learn the power of introspection and how it can help them better understand their emotions and address underlying issues. 4. The importance of forgiveness. Holding on to anger and grudges only weighs a person down. The story shows that forgiveness, both for oneself and others, can be liberating and lead to emotional healing. 5. Empathy and understanding. Raj's ability to empathize with others and see their perspectives is a central theme in the story. We can learn the value of empathy in resolving conflicts and fostering better relationships. 6. Channeling anger for positive change. The story demonstrates that anger, when harnessed wisely, can be a powerful catalyst for change. It can be used to stand up against injustice, motivate personal growth, and inspire positive action. 7. Inspiration and leadership. Raj's transformation and his ability to inspire and lead others in times of crisis provide a lesson in leadership. His actions show how a leader can motivate and guide a community toward a common goal. 8. The ripple effect of one person's transformation. Raj's personal transformation had a profound impact on his village and even neighboring communities. This illustrates how individual change can lead to broader social change and inspire others to follow a similar path. 9. Legacy and storytelling. The story of Raj, passed down through generations, highlights the power of storytelling to preserve wisdom and inspire future generations. We can learn the importance of sharing stories of transformation and resilience. 10. The choice in how to respond to emotions. the story emphasizes that emotions, including anger, can be managed and channeled in a way that serves a higher purpose. It encourages us to consider how we respond to our own emotions and whether we choose to react destructively or with wisdom. In summary, the story of Raj offers profound lessons about emotional self-awareness, transformation, empathy, leadership, and the potential for positive change. It reminds us that, with the right mindset and approach, even the most powerful and potentially destructive emotions like anger can be channeled into forces for good. Nothing could make us feel better if this video makes you feel a bit happier. Please hit the subscribe button below and share with your loved ones if you would like to continue this wisdom journey with us. See you next time.